I say to you here now, as I have said to you over the telephone in the past few days, we are one people with one purpose, with one country. Let us join hands and together build this country for our children. Let us set the agenda of Liberia for the next 100 years. To our friends in the international community, the United Nations, the OAU and ECOWAS, the United States, the European Union, and other friendly governments throughout the world, to the current chairman of ECOWAS, General Sani Abacha and all his predecessors, to ECOMOG and his very strong force commander, General Victor Malu, to the chairman and members, the Election Commission, we all say a big thank you.
This is a throwback video to the golden Nigerian military era of the 1990s, when Nigeria under the military government of General Ibrahim Babangida and later General Sani Abacha actively played the Big Brother role in the West African sub-region. United Nations peacekeeping assumed an overwhelming importance in post-Cold War Africa in a bid to fill the security vacuum created by the departure of the superpowers. Somalia, Rwanda, Namibia, Western Sahara, Angola and Mozambique all experienced some form of UN peacekeeping presence, and about half of the UN peacekeeping missions undertaken since 1989 occurred in Africa. The ubiquitous UN presence exposed the institutional weakness of the Organization of African Unity (OAU) and sub-regional organizations in Africa. After the debacle in Somalia, where 18 US soldiers and about 1,000 Somalis were killed in October 1993, UN peacekeepers were forced to withdraw. Since then, the United States and other major powers in the UN Security Council have shown great reluctance to sanction military interventions by the United Nations in Africa. Led by the United States, the Security Council shamefully failed to act decisively in the clear case of genocide against 800,000 people in Rwanda between April and June 1994, despite having a UN military presence on the ground. Regional organizations in Africa have been forced to fill this void. By far the most significant has been the Economic Community of West African Ceasefire Monitoring Group mission in Liberia, which represents the first full-scale attempt by a sub-regional organization in Africa to stem conflict largely through the efforts of regional troops, logistics and funding. The Liberia mission is also the first time that the United Nations has sent peacekeepers to an already established regional peacekeeping effort. ECOMOG was an active manifestation of regional security in the post-Cold War era. Liberia was a country with historical ties to the United States that had served as a Cold War ally. A Nigerian-led intervention would have been difficult to imagine without the end of the Cold War. Liberia perfectly crystallized the glowing indifference of external actors to Africa and the growing interest of African actors in resolving their own conflicts. ECOMOG also launched a Nigerian-led intervention into Sierra Leone between 1997 and 1999 that involved Ghana, Guinea and Mali, as well as a brief intervention into Guinea-Bissau between February and May 1999 involving Benin, Gambia, Niger and Togo. In July 1997, ECOMOG conducted a general election in Liberia, our West African neighbor that had been battling with a bloody civil war for almost a decade. The election was conducted under heavy military supervision, and the result of the election produced Charles Taylor, a former rebel leader, as the democratically elected president of Liberia. The war in Liberia finally came to an end, and the Nigerian government under the leadership of General Sani Abacha played a most critical role in making this happen.
We are the last lap of bringing peace to your country. Vote for your Even if the 13 political parties are not here, those of you representing the party, the council of churches should be able to certify that things went the way you expected. I can tell you that, not being a Liberian, I've never observed any election that has been conducted so freely and so fairly. But I think I must first commend the Liberians themselves. The orderly manner, the enthusiasm they have shown to come and conduct themselves, stay quietly in line without shuffling, is something I really admire. I believe at the end of it, Liberians themselves would have voted a leader that all of us, including myself, will give the fullest support. So I wish all of you luck.
In this video, the then Nigerian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Tommy Kimi, accompanied by the ECOMOG Force Commander, General Victor Malu, can be seen driving through the streets of Monrovia amidst great fanfare and celebrations en route the Nigerian House, where he'll be making a press statement about the just concluded elections. Do you think if the ECOMOG forces continued to exist, Nigeria's security problems will be a thing of the past? Drop us a comment, let us know what you think, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you in the next video.
Special Representative of the Secretary General of the United Nations, Major General Victor Malu, Force Commander, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of my colleagues, the foreign ministers of Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana, and Guinea, representing the ECOWAS Committee of 9 in Liberia, I welcome you once again to Nigeria House for this press briefing. Only 2 days ago, we addressed you on preparations for the presidential and legislative elections which were held yesterday, 19th July 1997. While we await the outcome of these elections, we have thought it necessary to make public some of our views and observations of the conduct of the elections, which represent the last item on the 14-point agenda of the revised schedule of implementation of the Abuja Agreement. Yesterday, while the elections were in progress, my colleagues here and I visited several locations in Monrovia. We also traveled to other parts of the country and molestation. In this regard, we commend the men and women of the West African Peacekeeping Force, ECOMOG, whose professionalism and commitment made this possible. ECOMOG provided the security personnel and vital logistic requirement for all the polling centers nationwide. Consequently, they ensured total security throughout the elections. They conducted themselves in a friendly manner and made themselves available to all voters as necessary to ensure also that the process was peaceful and breach-free. The 13 registered political parties of Liberia and their followers deserve our congratulations. After 7 years of civil war, it would not have been unexpected that differences of perception and ideologies would underpin behavior among rival political parties. Our experience yesterday showed that Liberians were prepared to put the past behind them and work for peace by participating in the electoral process in a spirit of maturity and accommodation. Yesterday's special elections in Liberia witnessed the participation of an unprecedented number and variety of international observers and press from different parts of the world. We thank them for their presence and commend them for their interest, as they too must now feel satisfied that the process which has just been concluded was peaceful, free, and fair. In the same vein, the international donor community, particularly the United States of America, the Netherlands, Germany, Japan, and the Taiwanese governments have supported these ECOWAS-led elections through financial, technical, and logistic means to the Independent Elections Commission and to ECOWAS. The United Nations, the Organization of African Unity, and other members of the international community were equally supportive of our regional efforts. We commend these countries and organizations for their contributions and confidence in ECOWAS. We recall that a lot of apprehension existed that these elections should not be held at this time of the year because of unfavorable weather, as this is indeed the rainy season in Liberia. However, our experience yesterday gave us cause to believe that even the elements cooperated with us to make the exercise the tremendous success that it was. The rest of the process concerns the retrieval of the materials from the various locations across the country for the results to be collated and processed by the Independent Elections Commission. We wish to appeal to the staff of the Independent Elections Commission responsible for this very crucial aspect of the process to exercise utmost care, efficiency, and patriotism. Now that the results of elections are being eagerly awaited by the candidates, the people of Liberia, our sub-region, and indeed the entire world, we take this opportunity to appeal to the candidates to exercise patience. We understand that the results of these elections will be released progressively. We therefore urge the candidates to continue to act maturely and do nothing that would undermine the electoral process at this stage. Furthermore, we appeal to the candidates, particularly the presidential candidates, to accept the results whenever they are released in the spirit of sportsmanship and to extend cooperation to whoever emerges the winner of the elections. Similarly, we expect that the winner will be magnanimous in victory and extend goodwill and understanding to the colleagues in other parties. Meanwhile, we ask all the citizens of this country to continue to pursue their legitimate interests peacefully, and we give assurance that the officers and men of ECOMOG will continue to ensure that the peace and security now prevailing in this country will not be undermined. I thank you.
Gentlemen of the press,
We'll be here 6 months after the elections. Of course, the sub-region is aware of the circumstances of Liberia. The situation will change dramatically in this country after the 2nd of August or the 16th of August, whichever is relevant, when a new president is installed here, who will have the authority to enter into bilateral arrangements with other countries or to approach his colleagues, the heads of state of the sub-region, for a revision of this situation. So it is premature now to address such an issue, which indeed will be something that the president who will take office in this country should be in a position to deal with.
Is it premature, sir, to address the question of Nigeria's willingness, however?
Okay, I addressed that to you. Nigeria is not operating here as Nigeria. Nigeria is operating here as a country of the 16 countries in the sub-region. A decision for ECOMOG to come here in 1990 was taken in Banjul, Gambia by the heads of state. And so a decision to extend ECOMOG stay here will also be taken by the heads of state. Incidentally, there will be ECOWAS annual summit towards the end of August in Abuja. I'm sure that this will be a serious item on the agenda. Area, in Liberia, and it is indeed auspicious that they are personally here at this time, and that we will be here most probably until the results are announced, and we should be in a position then to have a discussion with the Independent Elections Commission on the outcome of the results. If the results indicate that there would be a runoff, then the circumstances on the ground, as known by the Independent Elections Commission with regards to their resources, will be revealed to us. I think that the process yesterday encourages everyone. It has been successful, hitch-free, peaceful. I'm sure that all those who are interested in resolving this matter completely in Liberia will be able to go that extra mile to ensure that we are able to conclude this event. Definitely, we will make the report back to the chairman of ECOWAS, who will then contact his colleagues, the heads of state of the sub-region, and quickly find a solution if need be. That's your job. Once the authorized officer at the Independent Elections Commission authorized to announce a result has announced the result, then it becomes public property. Then you can publicize it. But you should not be the originator of the result. The result must come from Independent Elections Commission who will officially announce a result, and that result becomes something that you can publish. We would not like to see you as press going from polling station to polling station and publishing what you yourself call rumor. We don't like to hear a rumor.
Journalists fetch the news themselves.
I would expect you journalists who are accredited to the Independent Elections Commission to be there, on time when results will be announced. I don't know who else, the Elections Commission would want to announce results to, apart from the press. So you should be there when they invite you for the announcement. And if you are accredited to ICOM, I am sure you will not be left out.
Yes.
They're on the ballot. Oh, I see. Well, maybe this question is for you, Jeremiah.
I don't know how to answer it. I think the important thing is that in each of the polling centers, all the observers from the various political parties witnessed the markings on the ballot papers. And they compile the results from those centers as they were being compiled. So if the marks should disappear today, what effect will it have on your candidate? Let me ask you that to let me know.
Like for example, according to the information given, the essence of tampering with that aspect of the process is intended to place a particular candidate in a negative position in that his opponent will overcome it. So we really want to know as to whether this will affect that candidate.
Well, I understand that there was going to be a test ballot, and the test ballot will be done and placed in an envelope. And that test ballot has been done, and I think it is still secure, and it is kept by Neramalu. And I think what you rightly said, the information which was circulating was a rumor, and I think it still remains. I've not corrected so far, so I think it is still a rumor.
You see the question is earlier about creating concern. Your past position on that, I would like to your comment.
Our position on Sierra Leone has not changed from what I told you 2 weeks ago. We plan to meet again on the 25th of this month, that is to say Friday, in Abidjan, La Côte d'Ivoire, with the Sierra Leonean representatives of those who carried out the coup May 25th. I told you we made substantial progress. There is a ceasefire enforced right now, and both sides agreed to pursue the objectives, of ECOWAS, which includes, the restoration of the legitimate government of President Jankaba. The modalities, for bringing that about is what we will discuss next week Friday. I am sure that, they are also very keen on the early settlement of the problems.
At the center in Dupero, for which I was assigned to cover yesterday, there was a lady complaining of not being allowed to vote at 4 o'clock, and I learned from the election monitor there that if there is a queue at 4 o'clock, that queue will have to end. Even if it is 6 o'clock, people in the queue will definitely exercise the right to vote. And the lady said at 4 o'clock, the election monitor there told them that they wouldn't be allowed to vote. And she came out complaining bitterly that she was not allowed to exercise her right as a Liberian to choose the person she wants to go to the executive mansion. What is your comment on that, sir?
If the story you have told is exactly what transpired, it will be unfortunate. Because we also visited some stations outside Monrovia, in fact in Bong County, where there were long queues at 2 p.m. And it was the presiding officer there explained to us the regulation is that if you are within the premises before 4 p.m., even after 4 p.m. you must be allowed to vote. So that must be an unusual situation if it actually did occur. But as you know, there are observers there, there are party agents there who should file in their reports. There will be no elections, no matter how good, that there will be no isolated incidents. In spite of the fact that we are judges, free and fair across the country, there would be 1 or 2 incidents. But if you look at the percentage of such incidents, it would be negligible.
It seems as if you offered some kind of a deal to
to the delegation that you met. Can you tell us exactly what it is that they are going to go and think over for you to meet again on Friday? What is the deal on offer?
We did not go there to deal with anyone. We went there to have a dialogue and a discussion and negotiate. We believe we could resolve this matter by a dialogue and negotiation. By dialogue, we both established a framework that we will all accept, the objectives of ECOWAS, which is now the objectives accepted by this continent and by the world. They may not have known that before they came to the meeting. Now that we have reached that breakthrough, that we accepted the objectives, that we will work towards the restoration of President Tejan Kaba, they wanted to go back and consult, with some of those who were not at the meeting. Maybe Johnny Paul Koroma and others who were not at the meeting on their own modalities, how they would like to see it. We will then meet on Friday and look at what they present. We too are going to do our own homework. We will have to talk to President Kaba too and others, So we will then find a framework, under which, we can restore President Kaba to Sierra Leone.
Does it mean, sir, that they accept the framework that you were offering? They accept that there should be a restoration of constitutional rule in Sierra Leone?
If you read the communique, which is now a public document, it's very clear. They said that, we agreed that constitutional order should be restored in Sierra Leone within the framework of item 4.1 above. 4.1 above states the restoration of the legitimate government of President Tejan Kaba. So that is accepted. So if that
is it just a time frame we are worried about?
That will be one of the modalities. Time frame could be modalities. Free passage for those who have carried out this thing could be a modality. The restructure of the military could be a modality. So there could be a lot of things we would like to talk about. It's not just take President Kaba and drop him in there. We must look into also some fundamental problems. How do we implement, the Abidjan Accord of November 1966? These are all 1996. See, so these are all things that need to be discussed. But we couldn't, go through all that, in 24 hours. There needs a breathing space to go and think about it as well and come up, with some reasonable proposals. If we're there, they had a delegation of 15 persons, and the leader of the RUF, that they now call the People's Army, was also there. We had representatives, also of senior citizens and politicians like Dr. Kareva Smart and one Abbas Bondo. And I understand that they have, kind of arrangement we call AFRC, which is led by Johnny Paul Koroma. But all these people are involved. We have the RUF, we have the Kamajors, we have the politicians and all the what do you call them? The Capras. So these are the things we want to see how to unravel next Friday.
Please, I'd like to know, suppose one of the first measures as far as the election of Nigeria and all of our laws set this down, with the strong security like what you can do to the ECOWAS, there should be another problem.
ECOMOG has not left to start with. And one of the reasons why we hold this press conference is to give an assessment of the situation of today. ECOWAS Committee of 9, the ministers, and I'm sure the heads of state will support what we say, believe that the process has gone well. I believe the observers who have come here, international community, etc., also would have their own say. I don't expect them to state differently from what I am stating. The message should be clear to all those who have contested that we now are expecting the result. We're not expecting, dissension from the result. So whatever the result is, we should be accepted. ECOMOG